So the finale of Loki Season 2 has finally aired, but before that, let's address the elephant in the room. Marvel, since the release of Endgame back in 2019, has sort of fallen out of grace in the eyes of a lot of people. Sure, there's still the die-hard MCU fans who will defend any product they put out, regardless if there's glaring flaws in important areas like the script or visual effects. Hey, like what you like, who am I to say? However, it hasn't all been bad. Phase 4 and 5 haven't just been a complete dumpster fire. Even if a majority of the content has been underwhelming, there's been some bright spots. Films like Spider-Man No Way Home and Shang-Chi were both pretty damn good in my opinion. Even some of their Disney Plus series are ones I'd go on record as saying were quite enjoyable, such as WandaVision. However, there has been their fair share of duds. This year alone, we received a very disappointing third Ant-Man film, which was set to introduce Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors, who is the next big bad of the MCU following Thanos' defeat in Avengers Endgame. Although we met a Kang variant known as He Who Remains in the first season of Loki, the Kang we meet in Quantumania is the Kang we know from the comics, vicious, powerful, and extremely dangerous. However, his introduction, despite a good performance by Majors, was bogged down with a really bad screenplay, more than rushed special effects, and Marvel's inability to move on from making endless amount of jokes at the expense of genuine emotion. I don't know about you, but during a big climactic battle sequence, I don't really feel the need to see Cassie Lang stop what she's doing so she can tell MODOK that it's never too late to stop being a dick. That's just bad writing in my opinion. That being said, personally my love for the MCU has dwindled significantly since Endgame, whether it's painfully misplaced humor in a film like Thor Love and Thunder, or the extreme levels of boredom that a film like Eternals exudes, they haven't really been up to par with what we've grown to expect from Kevin Feige and co. However, I have to say, if any recent MCU project has succeeded in restoring some of my faith in this franchise, it was Loki Season 2. Now back when the first season aired, I thoroughly enjoyed pretty much every episode, and the finale, which included He Who Remains, the supposed most powerful variant of Kang, the one who ended the multiversal war, being killed by Loki's female variant Sylvie. This leads to a countless amount of timelines branching out, causing chaos and leading right into Season 2. Despite my love for the first season due to constant disappointment from Marvel as of lately, I wasn't that excited for Loki Season 2, to the point that I didn't even catch up until 3 episodes had already aired. But when I finally did, I was more than surprised at how much I was still enjoying this series. Seeing Mobius played by Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston's Loki interact in more scenes together was great. I thought the addition of Kei Kwan's Obi was fantastic, and one of my new favorite additions to the MCU, and I especially was fond of how the repercussions of the events in Season 1 were strongly felt in Season 2. Right from the first episode, you feel like our characters are in a race against time with a clock that's ticking at a ridiculous speed. Overall, I felt the story moved at a good pace with not much filler, the new characters and old ones all feel like they have their place in the story and serve a purpose, and the visuals in this series look pretty great. Not just the visual effects, which look pretty damn good for a TV series, especially compared to some of their recent films, but also the cinematography was really strong. There's still a lot of the typical MCU shot reverse shot format of recording dialogue, but there's plenty of scenes that just follow the characters and allow the actors to act, combined with scenes that have genuinely thoughtful and motivated camera movements that show the filmmaker's creativity. All of that is great and all, however, it's not what made me love Loki Season 2. It's not the action scenes or the hilarious buddy cop dynamic between Loki and Mobius, it's not the cool visual effects or epic scenes that kept my attention. No, what Loki Season 2 does, what the MCU used to do, and what they need to do more of is simple. Stop letting plot move character and let character move plot. When you think about the MCU and some of its best moments, it's easy to focus on the big cinematic moments. We think of Tony flying the nuke through the wormhole at the end of the first Avengers film. We think of Captain America facing down Thanos in Infinity War. We remember Iron Man snapping his fingers to defeat Thanos at the end of Endgame. All of these great big bombastic cinematic moments that we've enjoyed over the years. However, what we seemingly often forget, and what Marvel has forgotten too, is it's not the big action scenes, it's not the funny one-liners that makes these films and shows stay with us. It's the little character moments. The little moments of character that are sprinkled throughout the films and TV series. Those are the reasons the big moments work. We didn't fall in love with Captain America because he held back the helicopter in Civil War with his bare hands. We fell in love with Steve Rogers when he was the smallest guy in any room and was the guy who would jump on a grenade without a second's hesitation to save everybody else. We didn't fall in love with Iron Man when he fought Thanos on Titan. We fell in love with Tony Stark when he got kidnapped by terrorists, saw what his weapons were doing to the world, and made the decision to stop it. It's why a film like Endgame, despite being a tad bloated and unfocused at times, still works, because of the little moments. Tony meeting and having a heart-to-heart with his father, Steve seeing Peggy again, Thor interacting with his mother. Little moments where these titans, these massive heroes, are seen as just people with thoughts and feelings and emotions. And that's why Loki Season 2 is great, because at the end of the day, yes, there's a big overarching plot happening where Loki and his team are trying to stop branches and timelines from dying and are trying to save the multiverse. But in a brilliantly written scene in one of the later episodes, the reasoning, the driving force behind why Loki, a man who not too long ago was invading New York with an alien army with the hopes of taking over the world, is now fighting tooth and nail to save everyone, his intentions are finally revealed. He loves his friends and wants to save them. This entire season, all of the large-scale plot elements, the threat of variants of Kang on their way, the threat of the multiverse collapsing, all of it is background noise to the true focus of Season 2, and that's Loki. The final episode of Season 2 is titled Glorious Purpose, a callback to his line in the first Avengers where he's asked what his endgame, what does he hope to achieve with all of this, is, and his response is Glorious Purpose, which at the time is seen as a delusional response from a madman. However, in hindsight, it's quite possibly the most relatable line delivered in the MCU. Because in our own world, this very real, non-fictional reality, when you put aside all our simplistic, materialistic wants and needs and desires we think we have, most of us boil down to one simple desire. We desire to understand and find our purpose, why we're here and what we're meant to do. In the second season of Loki, a character who's been around since 2011's Thor, a character who's done and committed awful atrocities, who has hurt people he knows and ones that he doesn't, tells us that he just wants to save his friends. He's been alone his entire life, and now he has people he cares about that he wants to do right by. The season culminates in Loki being faced with a decision he chooses to ultimately not make, instead opting to go his own way, play by his own rules, and in doing so destroys the temporal loom holding the multiverse together, then proceeding to physically pull the multiverse back together with his power and holding it all together himself. Effectively becoming a temporal loom himself and holding the multiverse together by himself. It's a beautifully filmed, large climactic action sequence, but again, none of that works. That big moment, it doesn't work without the little moments. Without Loki sitting in the bar with Sylvie and her finally asking what he wants, and him finally revealing he wants to do right by his friends, that big moment, it doesn't happen. Loki Season 2 is a masterclass in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at character depth and character arcs, not just with Loki but with all of its characters. Even the minor ones, we are given moments that showcase who they are and what they do. And at the end of the day, these are the moments that really get us to fall in love with these characters. Whether it's Bucky breaking his brainwashing in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Wanda choosing to release the town she's controlled despite it meaning giving up her family, or just a fun moment of the Avengers hanging out after a party. Or most of all, Loki finally realizing he cares about people. The little stuff, the tiny character moments that aren't big action scenes, that aren't big plot reveals that set up the next film or show who the next big bad is, but instead are just genuine, relatable human moments of emotion. That's what the MCU needs to focus on. Make us fall in love with the characters again. Well guys, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Loki Season 2. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere in the middle? Let me know, and as always, if you liked this video, make sure to click the like button, subscribe if you want to hear more from me, and make sure to turn on the little bell notification button so you get notified when I post new content. And as always, I will see you guys on the next video.